Hey y'all, Cynthia Day here.
Maria Day.
And we're just having another tea time with the Day Sisters. So, Sis and I were actually having a conversation and just kind of reflecting on 2021, just the whole year. And transformation is what we realized has been the thing of 2021.
Absolutely. I don't know if y'all can relate, but man, this year has really groomed us, molded us, shaped us into, whew. I mean, the fact that we're in front of the camera talking to you guys, the fact that we're talking to each other.
And edit that part out.
No, and she still has eyeballs. Wow, like we survived in each other's presence.
And speaking of surviving in each other's presence, I fully believe because, COVID happened and COVID literally brought us under the same roof, right?
Literally.
It literally took you from one career to now evolving your identity into a completely different career.
Oh my gosh, that just the mindset alone. So for those who don't know, I've had a 20 plus professional career in the performing arts with dance, teaching, choreographing, touring, all the things, right? And then going from being an expert in the field to all of a sudden doing a complete transition into another industry, which is in real estate. By the way, which I never thought, real estate, what, that's boring. That's
what I know, it's to the dark side.
But I didn't realize how much confidence it was giving me and all the things. Like it just completed my brain. I was able to have having the creative with the logical, analytical, all the things. And it's just a beautiful marriage. I definitely transformed my confidence and outlook in life and all the things. But going into another industry and having to be humble to my big sister.
She's used to that.
I let her think that. So it's been really different than having your own things and all of a sudden like, whoa, I have to regroup. And I mean, when I say going through a humbling phase, I'm like, oh my gosh, how many phases do I have to go through this? But it's been great. And needless to say, I'm really glad that we are doing an activity that has brought us together. That we're able to. I'm glad that we're at a point in our maturity that we're able to get past our differences and have the tough conversations necessary. You know what I mean? But still retaining a very truthful and honest and unconditional relationship with one another. So just to let you guys know, we're actually not blood related. We're adopted. We have the same stepfather who adopted us, and we didn't necessarily grow up under the same roof. So this has been a very different. It's been very different actually having to live under the same roof with one another, and it's been beautiful. It's been beautiful. And
on the subject of transformation, Sis and I have always connected at a very cerebral, deep level, right? Like we've always thought way below the surface. We've always connected on a part of reality from a place of perspective. Deep introspection is really how Sis and I have connected, and it's always been a discussion of the way that we're viewing life at that phase or at that moment and that place in our life. And so, I've always, told people that she's my soulmate, just because we've always connected on that level. And I think that us being together has really, over COVID, I mean, it's really allowed us to learn and grow from each other.
Absolutely. Like when she means like I remember when she visited us she used to live in Kansas City. So when our adopted father was in the Air Force traveling all the things. So when we finally came to the States and settled in the Houston area, when she came over, we stayed up till till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, just talking about whatever, laying in bed, looking at the dark ceiling, just talking about whatever. We just had off like at a young age. And she was like a teenager or even just got out of college or whatever. And then we used to just write each other and everything. Like that's how.
Oh yeah, I still have the first letter she ever wrote me.
It was a prayer. So and it's really cool, but we never really anyway. So that's what I'm saying in terms of like that's how we connected on like a spiritual level, if you will. You know what I mean? So
I'm continuing that spirituality here, over 2021. Well, the end of 2020 and then into 2021, I would say that we both pushed each other to think outside of our paradigm of how we saw reality, right? And I think the amount of respect that we have for each other allowed us the opportunity to learn from each other. Because normally, when people have let's just say for instance, when someone has like a polar opposite viewpoint, you tend to just shut them out. You're not listening, you're not retaining, you're not introducing new information at that point. But because you and I respect each other immensely, we actually gave each other a chance. And in doing that, it's like the paradigm of thought in my mind began to open, it began to expand. And, I began to not be so hot-headed about my point of view in the way that, I understood truth, right? And I really think that, the evolution of the both of us, could really could really be contributed, or whatever the word is that I'm looking for, you know, to that mutual respect that we have for each other, because we're different.
We're very, very different. And, you know, like, just to even paint more of a picture, like, I was the MIA daughter. I never showed up to family anything. I was a recluse. I didn't want anything to do with family. I was like, family events, whatever, next. You know, because such a workaholic. I had a vision and I wanted to attain that. But, you know, I mean, you know, at a later age, like at the time I was around 35, I really started craving family and wanted some kind of rootedness. And all I knew is that I needed a shift, I needed a change. And again, timing couldn't be any better. Like, again, COVID, it forced us to be together. It forced me to live up to what I was saying, you know, like, oh, you want family? Well, here's family. And then having to learn how to be a family member and having to put my independence aside and my thoughts of, you know, like, well, I could do this by myself type of thing, versus embracing a family member and their ideas and all of that stuff, and just like cohabitating with, like, you know, that's not a bad thing. Like, I think we're both fairly clean.
Oh yeah.
So that works out. But just all of that, you know, so just trying to paint a picture of how opposite and different. And then from you had a different thing going on. You've already established your own life and everything already, you know, great in your career, really, really established, like, just all kinds of things, right? So
yeah, I mean, you know, just the way that our family dynamic was growing up. I mean, I think all of us sisters were very independent of each other. And it wasn't until we all grew up and became grown that all of a sudden it was like, we freaking like found each other, you know, and we created our own bond together.
Yeah.
And, you know, we really started appreciating that. And over time, you know, I just really started developing myself. You know, I've spent probably the last 20 years of my life, you know, working on just, you know, things from life, you know, the old limiting beliefs and the old identities that keep you safe, meaning you basically reject yourself to keep yourself safe, you know. And so I've spent, you know, the last 20 years really uncovering the true, authentic me and healing from any pain or, you know, hurt, you know, trauma, and in doing so found my way back to my sisters.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And, you know, my sister uses this word a lot, intention. What are your intentions? Set your intentions, be intentional. And so when, you know, I mean, she repeats herself a lot, which is great because I have a hard time retaining, so I need repetition.
Oh, it's a great pairing.
Oh yeah, here we go. So, but I'm always reminding, like, okay, how am I intentionally going to show her the love that she needs? Not the love that I want to give, but what does she need? Like the other day, she needed a hug, and I gave you a hug.
Just to hear her say this is like,
right?
Look at you, all evolved and grown up now.
I gave her a hug, you guys.
No, but the point that I'm getting at is, like, you know, you're getting outside of yourself. It's not the love that you want to give someone. It's being so selfless and caring enough that you want to give the kind of love that you know that someone else needs.
Exactly. And that has been a very helpful tool and tactic, and forgiveness. You know, even though it's so flippant hard, it's like, you know what, do you want pain? Do you want conflict, or do you want peace? Do you want love? Well, shoot, if I say I'm a loving person, I need to be loving. I need to demonstrate and show it in spite of how horrible the other person treats me. I'm not saying, you know, put yourself on the fire and like constantly, you know, like Suicide Squad. Don't do that. But like in pieces and doses, you know what I mean? Where it's bite size and you can handle it. And then when it's time to retreat by all means. But slow and steady, like it's a race.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I can totally agree with that. You know, I mean, 2021 was, you know, man, let me tell you, it was the year of the most significant change in me, right? Like, I experienced some really crazy lows, like major losses in 2021 that legit broke my heart. Like, I was brokenhearted, and overcoming that and showing myself the compassion for the first time ever really allowed me to heal, like, permanent, you know, like old wounds that, you know, brought about those kind of situations in my life.
Tell them about your losses. Like, tell the people the two really big, tell them.
So I lost my mother. You know, that was a shot to the heart.
It's okay.
Yeah, lost my mom in January. That was really hard. My mom and I weren't perfect. You know, she was probably the first person who ever broke my heart. And I spent a lifetime, you know, trying to heal from that. And that was really hard to lose her. And, you know, then I ended a relationship.
a relationship that I thought was going to continue forever. I didn't think it was ever going to end. And it ended. And I experienced, legit heartbreak. And it crushed me. It crushed me. And, that was the time that I really had to, find legitimate, real self-love, real love for myself. And I did. I freaking loved and I nurtured my way, thank you sis, through everything. I found God showed me the truth about myself. God allowed me to feel the pain of that truth. I didn't run from that pain. I actually sat with it. Because, a lot of times whenever we go through pain, it's like we want to mask it. We want to go out, maybe we want to eat a bunch of food that makes us numb the pain. Maybe we want to go out and have drinks, so that we can numb the pain. Maybe we want to go be submersed in, like friends and groups of people and work, just to be distracted from our pain. And I lived that life for a while, and it showed, in a lot of my craziness. And this time around I did different. I developed a relationship with myself that is genuine, that's honest, that's loving. Like I show myself the love and the compassion that, you would show a friend who's going through, tough times in life. And I freaking loved me. And I became a thing. Like I had no idea that, there was such a thing as a relationship with yourself. That just never occurred to me or crossed my mind. And so with that became very centered in my power and my authenticity and my purpose. And it's like, man, I'm so in the flow with God and so connected with the soul of who I am that, I'm afraid, because I'm legitimately developing myself, as an entrepreneur, and I am busting out of all kinds of limiting beliefs and old ways of thinking and believing, that because I used to hold myself back. I used to hold myself back from achieving success because of old tapes and old stories and, those old situations that had happened. And so like literally busting down those brick walls that I used to contain and confine myself with has been so liberating. Like have you ever seen Fried Green Tomatoes and, Tawanda, she's like channeling Kathy Bates. She's like, or whoever she is, she's channeling Tawanda, and she's like got a sledgehammer busting down walls in her house. I mean, that's me. And, a lot of the things, that, I've been doing to, really work on my soul, has allowed me to, step up and be this person today and, share myself with you and be myself with you, most importantly.
Absolutely, you guys. Like she's just such a strong warrior, queen, slaying her sword. Like all these, like she kept on going in her business even when her heart was bleeding. She got arrows on her back or something. All of it. She's like just walking and bleeding at the same time. But guys, she never stopped. She kept going, and that was really beautiful to witness. And then all at the same time, she had the courage to be like, you know what? Let me try this. Let me try that. Basically, she changed her mind. She shifted her focus. And if I don't know if anybody is out there who feels like giving up, who feels like the world is coming after them, don't stop. Keep moving, no matter what, and do the things that you've always wanted to do, you know what I mean, while you're down, and it's easy to just go inside the bed and roll over and sleep your days off or whatever, and whatever other outlets you have, but just keep going, because like now look at this, she jiu-jitsu'd or aikido'd her energies into something different, something productive. She's like, okay, fine, I'm not going to deny the fact that I'm hurting, but I still can't allow my life to be paralyzed. I mean, my goodness, and she's a single mom too, she has to get her little animal.
He is, oh my gosh. Thank God I am so committed to that little dude, man. I mean, and that's what it takes, it takes a commitment, right? To have the courage to live out, your divine assignment. Like God, God definitely has a purpose for your life. And he allows you the opportunity to strengthen yourself, and he gives you the situations that give you the life skills, right, in order to be able to fulfill that assignment. So what doesn't challenge you doesn't change you. And so I look at every challenge, every heartbreak, every situation in my life as, as a lesson, like a lesson that was a blessing. It was a blessing. And so, that is what I can honestly look back, and really look at life in the eyes of compassion, like gratitude. Like, thank you. Like Adele, she won all those Grammys and she stood up in front of everyone shaking her Grammy like, thank you to that guy that broke my heart, because without this blessing, basically, I wouldn't be standing here with an armful of Grammys. So, I mean, if it weren't for that relationship, I wouldn't have gone and found myself and realized that I was the priority. I was the thing. I was the treasure. It wasn't anything other than me.
And she chose a productive path that was part of her purpose and line with her purpose. Adele didn't go and do other destructive things. She did something creative. She created something with that energy, right? And to give an even more picture, guys, like, she's probably gonna hate that I say this, but you guys, like, she was a difficult child. She was a difficult one. And my parents, she kept them on their knees praying or something, right? She gave them a lot of trouble.
And let's just say I really needed my parents. Okay.
Hey, there you go. But what I'm saying, I know, right? But
I wouldn't have given them so much trouble if they would have been around.
Hey, the truth is the truth. You know what I mean? But you guys, look how she channeled her energy. She has her own home. She has a very beautiful son. She owns her own stuff. She's running her own business, and she is taking it to the next level. I'm just so proud of her. I really am. So,
yeah, that's where 2022 is. It's legitimately like stepping onto the spaceship, right?
Yeah.
Taking it to the next level. Let's go.
Vroom vroom.